Greetings everyone on YouTube and welcome to this Age of Mythology Retold, a content creator interview video with me, Kemsit over here, and joined by Toasty Goblin, the creator of the Nomads in Midgard scenario. By all means, greet us.
Yes, hello. I'm Toasty Goblin. I've been making mods for games in general since I believe it's 2015 when I started with Mirror's Edge. Made some custom time trials for that. Eventually moved on to Age of Mythology Extended Edition on Steam and made a bunch of scenarios, gameplay mods, even a few audio mods as well. I'm now working on stuff for Age of Mythology Retold, such as Nomads in Midgard. And that's about it, really. I do mods for other things as well, but nothing major.
Alright, interesting. So you've been also collaborating with World's Edge, and you're still also developing, but just heads up, this side question, with World's Edge, and you're still working with Nomads in Midgard, apparently?
Yes, I'm trying to update it on the Age of Empires website, but for some reason it's just not letting me upload a new version. Okay. Which is annoying, because that one, I've added a bunch of new god powers, and you can play as the Aztecs, but I don't really know what's going on. I don't know why I can't upload it.
Okay. Well, I hope you've been able to ask around anywhere, maybe in the Discord server of the Age of Empires series. I don't know if anyone else has been able to help, or any of the creators. Perhaps ask around in any of the Discord servers as well, for example, Retold. Maybe they could try to hopefully help you, because that really sounds frustrating, honestly. But yeah, but else I can't help you that much, aside from saying that you have my sympathy and empathy, of course. Yeah. Let's then right away move on with the first question, the original one from the list. What sparked your interest in creating custom campaigns or scenarios? Was there a particular game or moment that hooked you, or a certain historical figure, perhaps community, that inspired you?
Well, Age of Mythology is a game I grew up with as a child. Played it for a number of years, and then just sort of forgot about it after a while. Just moved on to other things. Eventually, of course, the extended edition came out on Steam in like 2014, I think it was, and then picked it back up again. I just played skirmishes mostly, and then didn't really do that much with it. But then I started university, where I did a 3-year course on games design, and I wanted to start modding for games, at least more so than just for Mirror's Edge, which is what I was doing at the time. And so Age of Mythology seemed like a good idea, seeing as it has its own inbuilt editor, and you can also modify stuff outside of that with XMLs and other like community created tools that help you with stuff like that. So I think that's really how it started.
Okay. Well, that's really interesting then, that you've also been studying in the way of creating games as well, and that's really shows that you have a lot of potentials in you. Now that you've also mentioned as well, which we'll get to it as well, regarding that you've also chosen Age of Mythology to create the content, and so far I remember you've also been doing other games as well, right? Or am I wrong?
Not as much recently, because it's been quite time-consuming doing all this stuff Retold. I've got quite a few mod ideas that I would like to do. I've also recently released a Relic Refresh mod, which is just a relic overhaul. I did that like a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah. Okay. That's really interesting. No. Okay, then I'll move right away to the next question. Where do you find most inspiration from? Perhaps certain games or books, movies, or real life events whenever you create like a scenario, for example, especially Nomads in Midgard, because the idea, like I said, it felt very cool and amazing to have such a mission. You just enter in a little place, you had literally a tower that you could select, and then you just boom, go forward. You're gonna be attacked from all sides, and It was pretty cool with also the god powers that you could have chosen from, the relics, the little duels. It was so lively and so much things that you could do. Like I was literally a squirrel going around trying to finish them as soon as possible. But it felt really cool, honestly. So, what got you to this idea?
Well, I have to think back a few years because this isn't actually the first version of Nomads of Midgard I've made.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I originally made it for the extended edition on Steam,
Okay.
which was like back in 2017, I think. And then eventually I did a Redux version of that for the extended edition, which had a bunch of new custom stuff in it. And then when Retold came out, I pretty much immediately started working in the editor to recreate Nomads of Midgard. I didn't actually do any of the campaigns or skirmishes or anything. But the original idea, it's kind of hard to remember back to because it was so long ago. Around the time I was making those first scenarios for the extended edition, I was playing a lot of StarCraft 2 co-op with a friend. And so I think a lot of the ideas came from that. My first scenario was one called Lonely Sands, where basically you got this big map in the center. You've got a wonder which you have to defend, and then it's just lanes that will have enemies coming down them in waves. You have a day and night cycle, so enemies attack at night, and then during the day you can do optional side objectives. So I think Nomads in Midgard was a evolution of that, where it was just more open rather than just having a defined point where you had to defend. Instead, there were 7 different settlements you could choose from, and all different random starting locations to add more replayability.
Yeah.
I think that's where it came from.
Okay. That's really interesting. Now let's see, that's really true. You could definitely choose 7, and I think I don't know. I think I got the best pot. I think because it was between quite.
Oh, not even close. No way.
Really?
Yeah, there's 2 coastal settlements that I personally think are the best.
Okay.
So you have access to fish. You can set up really easy trade routes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just more convenient, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you've got a point there too. Yeah, I think could be possible. I guess. Well, oh well. Even though I still managed this, so big bet on the shoulder. I'll move on to the next question. Can you tell us about one of your favorite creations? Because now that you mention, so far we can also see here right on the screen, you've got 3 mods within Retold, and if I understand correctly, you've also created quite a bit of stuff in Extended Edition too. I don't know if you've also been around when the time of Age of Mythology with the Heavens forums, when people tend to download a lot of those scenarios or campaigns also then through there and play it. You know, for example, my favorite was always the Tower of Babylon. It was just so fascinating and quite a puzzle and all that, and filled stories, nice triggers and all. So if you had to choose one of your favorite creations until now within the AOM community, what would you say you're very proud of? I personally would imagine Nomads in Midgard, but could be wrong.
Nomads in Midgard is good, but I did one for Extended Edition that is basically Vampire Survivors. I call it Mythology Survivors. I started working on it March 2014? No, 2024. Ended up releasing it 6 days before Retold came out, which was kind of bad timing, but oh well. Did a few major updates for that, and it's basically a super jank version of Vampire Survivors in Age of Mythology. I think it's the best thing I've ever made.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I recently got a Steam Deck for my birthday, and I've been playing it on that every so often. And it works surprisingly well.
Okay.
Despite the analog controls.
Well, happy belated birthday, and I hope you're having definitely fun, which does sound like you have been. I've never really tried it, but I cannot bring myself to play it on Extended Edition, especially since all the life quality that is in here and looks. So yeah, maybe one day, but I doubt it. Do you think you will ever also try to convert it into Retold, or do you say no?
I think right now that's just impossible because
Well,
making custom particle effects, and there's a lot of custom particle effects I had to make in Mythology Survivors. I don't think it's actually possible. I could
oh,
probably do like a more rudimentary version, but
mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I've already done so much work on Mythology Survivors, and I've even got another update in the works that I'd like to do for it, so
Okay.
I'm not sure I'd work on it for Retold just yet.
Okay.
But maybe eventually.
All right. Okay, very interesting. But definitely something you can be proud of as well. And I think if anyone else has been playing it around and having fun as well, definitely write it down in the comment section below or just give them a pat for that. Um, moving on to the next question. Which campaign or mission is your favorite? Especially if we're gonna go back to the classics. It's a question I've been asking any creator as well, and I want to hear their opinions. Especially, for example, in Fall of Trident, many have definitely said the good advice where you go as caster and all, then play in the shoes of the enemy, or the A Place in My Dreams campaign. Some have said the Dwarven Forge. What would you be and why?
Probably the pig level, just because of how unique it is.
Mm-hmm.
The ones where, Arcantos and Ajax turn into pigs, and then you've got to rescue all the other sailors and then take them
Yeah.
to the temple. Just really unique. I've actually implemented that mechanic as a mutation
Yeah.
in Nomads in Midgard for
Mm-hmm.
Pandora's Box. So occasionally that kind of turn up as an event.
Yeah, that's really interesting and very cool as well. Some have also mentioned that one too, especially Noted. Um, what campaign would you say in? Campaign and mission within the also classic, the New Atlantis. Which one would you choose their mission?
That's not a campaign I've really played that much of.
Okay.
It is only 12 missions, so
Yeah. Yeah, and many people have said Mount Olympus, for example, where you I don't know if it's spoilers to you, where you as caster enter, Mount Olympus, and you get some troops which you can turn into mythical units and just fight through Mount Olympus or the Odin's
yes, I do
Tower.
remember that one.
Yeah,
It's a good
definitely.
one. It's the one where Prometheus is like roaming around the place.
Oh, Betrayal at Sikios, I think. Oh wait, no, I think is it Betrayal at Sikios? I think it is. Yeah, no, it's Making Amends. It's no, I think it is Betrayal of. Yeah, no, it is Betrayal of Cephas. Yeah, there, because that's the big Prometheus just smacking around, and you said, and then just you try to save Castor with Ajax and Amondra, and use those rocks and all that. So yeah, no, that's true. That's that one. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I remember playing that campaign as a child and doing the Pandora's Box cheat code, which
Yeah,
randomized all. Yeah,
yeah.
and I just did that until I got Prometheus and just killed everything. That
No,
was good fun.
yeah, I can imagine. Okay. Um, Here's another good and challenging question for you. I'm not sure if you've, aside from your own works, if you played any other custom campaign scenarios as well. Like, what is your favorite custom campaign scenario? It can be your own, but I would prefer and encourage you to choose one outside your own. If you had to choose, of course. I'm not sure if you're known by
Ah,
any.
God. I don't think I've even played any other custom scenarios.
Really?
Which
Oh,
seems kind of bad, yeah.
okay.
It seems like there's a lot of really talented people out there and I just don't play their work.
A lot, a lot.
Yeah.
Certainly, I can vouch for that. Like I've already mentioned to you as well, and I'll mention here. I'm just gonna quickly tab out over here and just check out my list, because for someone who has been, just scrolling around and finishing it, I've definitely like finished about more than 7 scenarios and 3 campaigns. 2 of them which are not finished, but that's on the retold version. And of course, in extended edition, there's a lot. In the Heavens forums, there's a lot more, but sadly, many of those people are not around anymore or have not been doing anything. So there's a lot, but it's amazing. So yeah, And it's just not campaigns, of course, or story bound missions. There's also a lot of those tower defense kind of games and all that, which basically are made by Yibigun or Netud, Ainikusu. Uh, but outside those challenging kind of missions, which you also have made with not much storytelling and all that, then you have people like the Mirrors, These Man's Gods, MK17, many of those names, but they're pretty good. So yeah, I could definitely advise you to go forward and try them out for sure, especially the history retold with Siege of Athens, for example, The Last Stand at Imsit Valley, and there's a lot more. But let me not brag too much about it. But yeah, okay. We'll just then move on to the next question. What has been the most challenging moments in your journey as a custom campaign or scenario creator, and how did you overcome them? Because I can imagine, some people have mentioned they can have a burnout, it can take a lot of time, or they're stuck at a certain point in regards to triggers, um, you name it.
Oh, burnout is definitely something I have a bit of
Oh,
trouble with every so often.
okay.
Um, yeah, mythology survivors. I've had burnout a few times trying to get certain things to work,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's like certain trigger events or certain bonuses I want to give to characters, and then they just don't turn out, and then I feel like I've just wasted my time, and then you just end up spiraling from that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think burnout is definitely something everyone has to deal with, but it's definitely not nice.
No, of course not.
So I do try and have multiple projects on the go to try and pace myself to
Mm-hmm.
try and tackle it.
No. Okay, so you're literally trying to tackle that. Okay, um, okay. And how do you think it has been going? Has it been able to work, or do you think like, I'm rough edges?
It seems to be working fairly well.
Okay, all right.
Um, yeah.
Well, here's another thing like, I've heard that some people have also handled it. For example, in Age of Empires 2, there's some creators who have advised to simply play some different games or just relax and take it easy. That could also be a thing, or just walk and all that, just take a quick breather. And that's something I would definitely offer you as an advice as well from others. Um, and hopefully you'll never go through burnout again because that's horrific.
Oh, it definitely
Uh,
will. Like it happens to every game developer, I think.
True, it does. And I think the best way then is just quickly take a little bit of a step back, interact with anyone or just play some different games, etc., and just relax and come back later. Um, but yeah, that's my own opinion and own advice. Of course, you can take it or leave it. Um, Moving on to question 7. Have you collaborated with the other creators? If yes, what tips would you give for successful partnership in the community? If no, would you be up for collaborations?
Uh, hmm. Don't think I've collaborated with anyone,
Oh,
and that'll
okay.
be on any mod. So even outside of Age of Mythology, but maybe I'd be up for it. Something like a bigger project, like a
Mm-hmm.
full-on campaign or something with like multiple levels rather than just a single scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'll this is always what I do. I definitely will be highly encouraging, of course, to do that if you can, of course. My biggest advice is definitely try to check out the other who I've interviewed. They could definitely be up for it. For example, Ramirez, Blaze Gods, they make quite a few nice reverse campaign missions. Or Jay Shotachu, she is quite a very nice person as well. She has, I don't know if you know it, Tale of the Dragon campaign from the extended edition. They have also remade it into Retold. They might be up for it. They have been also working on those things for making long campaign could be a nice, cool. Um, Definitely shout out to them too. Who knows, maybe Yubigun or Anikusu as well. And I think Miss Moba and Dark Antas are very good too because they're also working on some nice campaigns. Who knows if they'll be up for it, but this is me giving a shout out to them and offering you guys like future collaborations, any ideas. Um, so once again, feel free to leave it or take it. And for anyone else who have heard Toasty Goblin, he's open for it, so reaching out is also possible. Um, but okay. What advice would you give yourself if someone just approached you and like, hey, I'm someone new in starting to create custom campaigns and scenarios. What advice would you give them? Like, hey, you could do this or this, or like, yeah.
Don't try and be a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, perfectionism will just drive you up the wall. You'll never be satisfied what you make, and then you'll probably just end up canning every project you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just be satisfied with decent or good,
Yeah.
and just make stuff, put it out there, and just let people play it.
Okay.
I think that's the best advice I can give. 'Cause I was a bit of a perfectionist for a while, and I just didn't release anything.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, that's a solid answer. So definitely jump in. When you design a scenario campaign, what comes first for you? Gameplay wise, challenges, storytelling, historical accuracy, or fun, and why?
Variety is definitely the thing I try and go for. So whether
Mm-hmm.
it's being able to play as multiple different characters or just have loads of random stuff in there. So like with Nomads in Midgard, there's a lot of different types of attack waves that can come your way. There's
Yeah.
even a small chance for super rare attack waves to turn up, where it's just completely different enemy types, and there's even unique musical stings for it. Um, so yeah, variety is, I think, the main thing that I try and aim for, just so that I can get just so that everything I make has lots of replayability. So every time you play it, it's not always the same as the first time.
Okay. So you have definitely like some different triggers attached to your scenario as well to um like if I were to replay Nomads in Midgard right now, I would definitely be facing a different challenge as well compared to my previous one because I've been attacked quite a lot by wolves and some heroes, even some big armies with ballista and all that. It was interesting. Quite a lot of nidhogg's too. Like that was quite amazing too. So you would say you'll be facing different armies possibly too.
For the most part, the wolves are default, so they'll always turn up during the attack waves. But
Mm-hmm.
and then the later waves, Nidhoggs are always guaranteed. But if you had higher population for that finale wave, you may have faced a Titan.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. All right. Actually, here's another side question. Literally, there are some passages which are blocked, and there's no way to destroy that. What is behind there?
The ones at the edge of the map are where the enemies spawn. So when the
Ah,
attack wave starts, they get destroyed, and then the enemies can come out. And then when the attack wave ends, they are rebuilt. And it's just
okay.
to stop players from spawn camping, basically.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. What tool triggers or editor features do you rely on most, and which ones do you wish were improved? Now, this is another interesting question, and very variety of opinions have been given here too.
I think the variable triggers are probably the most useful for me, because
Mm-hmm.
with that you can just define so many things. Like the RNG randomized variable,
Mm-hmm.
I just use that constantly, just to add variety to things. And
Okay.
being able to define variables for things, you can just change them with triggers and then have other things happen without
Mm-hmm.
needing to like activate other triggers. It just makes things so much easier.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's interesting. And do you have any a trigger or editor or features and all that that you'd say they could use definitely an improvement, or you say no, I'm currently fine? Like some people say, naming of some sorts in regards to the terrain, etc. Also more terrains because they feel, especially Notud has mentioned it in Darkentos, regarding is quite missing. Um, some would say the ability to copy and paste the stats, not needing to redo it for every unit, as what Jay has said. Um, I'm trying to remember also out of my head and give you the ideas. I'm not sure if you'd agree and disagree or give all this. Yeah.
Oh, I can think of one. And it only really applies to people with really like loads of triggers.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, when you create a new trigger or duplicate a trigger, the effect goes all the way to the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
And the only way to then bring that to where you want it is to then click on it and then just spam click the move up
Yeah.
button. And if you're trying to bulk create, like duplicate most, like loads of different triggers and create new loads of other triggers, you just have to sit there for minutes sometimes, just spam clicking move up. And
Mm-hmm.
it is, oh God.
It's a
Oh
taxing.
God, it's horrible.
I'm sorry for laughing. uh,
And there's this really annoying lag spike that can happen sometimes, which just makes it so slow if you have another trigger
mhm.
that's like a start trigger that's activating other. Oh God, I don't even know why. It's horrible. I hate it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's such a time waster, and you'd rather want to just, I don't know, maybe slide it all the way upwards or something to have
Yeah,
that ability.
or just box select like you can with the units. Just box select in the UI and then just
Mm.
drag them up to the top. That'd be so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I really hope the developers were here and try to take this into a change. Okay. Let's move on and not, salt that little wound of yours. Sorry for that. Um, has player feedback ever made you rethink or redesign a scenario? And can you share us an example?
Um,
And by the way, don't tell me I have broken something or I forces something to change because I already have like six creators already mentioned. Comes in, you're broken this way, this way. I feel guilty, but at the same time happy that I've been able to help. Jay shut the show has already mentioned like you've done it again, but it definitely helped me to make some changes. So if you do got something in regards to Nomads and Midgard, please don't mention it. But other than that, I'm open to everything. But yeah, you know,
I think Mythology Survivors I probably had the most feedback for.
okay.
There's a few things. So when I first released it, there was only one boss enemy, and so
Mm-hmm.
since then I think I've added like an extra 10 boss enemies.
Okay.
Um, some things weren't clear, like you could get upgrades at the temple, so
Mm-hmm.
I've improved that. Um, Fixed some bugs that people reported.
Yeah.
Yep, I haven't like completely overhauled stuff from players' feedback, just like small tweaks, basically.
Yeah. But that's still good. You're definitely interacting with the community and taking constructive feedback and leave those which are not and in hopes to improve your game. And that's very nice, good initiative, honestly, which is something that any creator could definitely look up to. And of course, I feel is still rare lately within the industry. So definitely big thumbs up to you. Um, okay. I'll move on to the next question too. How do you approach balancing the difficulty to a custom campaign and our scenario is challenging but still focus on a fun aspect for a wider audience?
So whenever I'm doing a play test to try and gauge what's working and what isn't, and
Mm-hmm.
how challenging something is, I always try and think, how would a new player understand this, and how would they cope with like all these objectives, and would they get overwhelmed?
Mm-hmm.
So I've always got that in the back of my mind. Um, and of course, when it comes to like higher difficulties, I'm quite happy to just ramp things up to just ridiculous levels. So if people want to play Titan difficulty with all these modifiers, then by all means. Like, it doesn't have to be balanced, it just has to be fun.
Yeah, true, exactly. Um, all right, now that's a really interesting intake as well, and I highly encourage that too. To not make it too challenging, of course, and to, of course, make it fun as well, because that's the whole sole reason behind gaming, of course, to have fun. That's why we're gaming. Um, how do you think you've been doing within the Age of Mythology Retold content creator, and what would you tell your younger self if you had the chance?
Oh, goodness.
I know I'm asking difficult questions. Sorry.
What if you suddenly had the ability to time travel? Way!
Exactly. I mean, it is just nice to bring up some nostalgia and be like, hey, this is what I've done back in the day, but I really regret it. I could have definitely done it that time, but I didn't think about it. I'm just enjoying to give you guys a bit of brainstorming and all that. Also, a bit of a chill question too. I think. Trust me, it took me a lot of time for me to create this nice list and all that to offer, like I said, nice guidelines, encourage new creators, old creators, and um, do something unique in this uh, platform in YouTube and all that. A bit of behind insights, give you guys a little bit of me time, give you guys a bit of a spotlight too, as much as I can, of course, even for my small community. But you get what I mean. So yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know what I would tell my younger self, really. I
Okay.
think back then, I was just, whenever I opened up the editor, I was just like, here's 20 titans, here's another 20 titans, let's just mash them in a pit of death and see what happens. Like, I wasn't really trying to make anything
Okay.
worthwhile. It was just a playground, basically, I used it as. So I don't think I really had much of a game development mind back then as I do now.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, I think you could definitely tell your younger self, like, hey, keep that up, boy. You've been definitely being, you know, puzzling around to be a future developer like, right? So yeah, I think that's something you could tell by her, perhaps. Um, and 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 how do you think you've been faring so far within the community of Aiden Mythology Retold? Like,
Uh, I'm not sure, really. I've mostly just keep to myself and just work on my own stuff with my head down. I don't really interact that much, which maybe I should interact more, but
hmm,
I just quite like just being quiet to myself and just working on all my projects.
yeah. No, that's okay. That's a choice, but I definitely would highly encourage to interact with many people anyway. Anyway, even if you're just selective, it's definitely okay to do that. Because we humans are definitely the people who are talk active and all that, think a lot and all. So yeah, but it's just still a choice. I personally think you've been definitely doing good because if I'm gonna look over here in regards to your creations that you've made, especially the nomads in Midgard, you've definitely gotten quite a lot of downloads, more than 634, and an average rating of 12 with 5 stars. That already says a lot. And if we're gonna look at especially the relic refresh, which I've mentioned, also 517 downloads, 9 ratings of 5. That's still something you could look up to, and I think you've definitely still left a little bit of a legacy also behind in some people's minds. So a big pat on the shoulder, and personally, I would say just keep it up. And my personal advice: interact with the people. Like I said, it is truly a rare thing. What the current developers in the industry still lack, and don't create a bond with its customers. That is something that I find lacking too, and highly encourage. Um, Question 14. How do you see Age of Mythology Retold in its future? This is a rather conflicted and diverse opinion. Some say it's going horrible, some say it's going good. Uh, be it for the competitive, be it for the single player side. Some say, like, hey, it's doing good, especially since the creative side is starting to maybe live up lately because it's been down. What do you say?
I would actually hope for fewer DLCs and content updates, honestly, because I think there's an amount of tech debt that is growing in the game that is causing technical issues. Like
Mm-hmm.
only recently, nidhogg's have been fixed because previously their blazing strafe ability would just cause them to turn into a submarine. And that was in the game for months and just wasn't addressed. And it feels like the developers are spending too much time making new stuff rather than fixing the old stuff that is just getting more and more broken.
Yeah.
Like I've started getting a bug recently where if I hold down shift to queue up multiple commands for a unit to move, if they're holding a relic, they ignore those move commands unless that move command is on top of a building. It's just
Mm-hmm.
weird stuff like that that just keeps piling on. And like
Yeah.
ravens don't move in formation properly now, and like it's weird. I'd
Yeah.
like to see them focus more on just making the game more polished.
Yeah. Don't you think then we should just we as consumers or people as well should try to be more constructive about it and be more louder in this regards, and then hopefully they'll try to fix it, and then we could continue on with more content. Because I feel this is what the issue is. Even for the competitive side as well, they always feel too new, and that many of these civilizations that are being added feel very unbalanced, and it's just money grabbing and all that. But I personally do not think it's just money grabbing. Sure, everyone wants to earn some money and all that. Um, but I think it's also needed to continue up that game, of course. But what is also important is what we need to keep in mind that a company like Microsoft and Meta, of course, has its responsibilities to pay its people to keep the hires pleased too, of course, with numbers and all that, and of course have specific grounds that it can touch. So I think what we as community need to do is knock on their doors as together, both competitive and single player side, instead of shutting down on one thing. Well, shunning is quite a big word, but I think leaving out one side, especially new content, because we as humans are always interested in what's new, and it is going nowhere there, especially with how the competitive side, for example, have been left out on how it was going. Um, but lately there was no tournaments here, but lately they're starting to get more increase, and that is what I can see. So I think, in my opinion, I don't know if you would agree, is what we need is to have some more, you know, louder and together collective, well, not screaming, but like knocking on the doors of creators from, hey, fix this. Because I personally have also had a lot of pathfinding things problems, and it's far more worse than Age of Empires 2. Far more worse. Not just with the Aztecs, but also with some myth units as well. For example, I was recently playing with the Gauntlet, and my Anubius warrior was barely moving or even attacked or jumped, and it was just really absurd. So, yeah,
Yeah,
this is
I've
what I
encountered a
think.
few pathfinding issues as well. Just
Yeah,
like major heroes getting stuck on geometry and not being able to move.
yeah. I think that's just the bigger issues that needs to be addressed as well, and this is something they can and will, I hope, address as we voice these concerns out, because there's needs of these things, and it's also needed that we like we have all spoken with no tud, not just only from competitive side but also from the creator side too. I mean, single player side too as well, and also creators who have these connections. So yeah, I don't know if what you would say.
No, I think the devs are actually quite receptive to feedback. Like just recently, Demeter had a bunch of updates where they added Amazon archers, which was something that a lot of people on Reddit were certainly talking about. Like they were conspicuous by their absence that we didn't have a human soldier in the fortress for the Greeks for Demeter, but
Yeah,
now we have. And so
yeah,
I think they do listen to feedback. It's just with all the new content they're making, it's slowing them down. And so they're not adding all these things in that we want as quickly as we'd like. So I
yeah,
hope that changes.
yeah. I think I agree with that as well, partially, and that we definitely need to more have more an collective, how should I say, Grip who offer more content. Like I said, not just only from the competitive side, because in my opinion, like it was agreed to, um, uh, we still have so many more people who need to represent us what these issues and need to voice it out even more so that it is going to be fixed as well as. And like I said, I also can't think or assume that I also say can't fix all those problems at once, and I just rather stuck with funds as well and all. And like you said, focuses are all over the place, so we'll have to see. It is why I also think that's why Age of Empires 3, for example, is not getting any more DLCs, for example, which is also sad for that community because they were really looking forward for the Danes and the Bulls. Um, but moving on to the next question. Um, if you could instantly, because this is going to be definitely an interesting question for you, if you could instantly add or change one of the features to Age of Mythology or Retold scenario editor, what would it be? Like imagine Microsoft goes to you like, "Hey, Toasty Goblin, come over here, dude. You're hired. We're giving you money, but you can only choose one thing to fix, along with the big DLC that's coming forward, which the people have been looking forward to. What would it be?"
One thing to fix. Oh god.
Instantly. They're like, "Hey, we got the funds, we got the manpower, ready. Let's go." Yep.
I don't even know. One thing to fix.
Yep. Because, like I've mentioned before, many people have a variety of problems. Um, and this is what I think should be addressed too. Like I said, that collectively come together, talk about these things, see what problems you have, see what should be fixed right away. Because a company like Microsoft cannot see that, of course, entirely or all of it. Um, so that's why, like I said, it should be addressed. It should more people should come together, talk about it, and like I said, not just in competitive side, it needs also some scenario editors, side community, and need of single player thingy, and no one should fight one another or shame one another. Everyone should come together, have fun, find a middle ground, because I think that is what's lacking, and no influencer is sadly doing anything about it either. So yeah. And like I said, maybe I don't know how you feel about it. For example, some people have also said back in the day in I think it was extended edition. This is what Dark Kentos also said. For example, when you have like spawn units time, you had that one unit spawner thingy that you place down and it spawns units. But when you did the group unit, it would literally just crash. The whole editor would just screw up. That apparently has changed. There's still some other issues appearing as well in the what was it again? Uh, well, I don't remember. I forgot. But Jay Shotika also mentioned, for example, the water placing is quite hard. That you also need to play with the hates, for example, quite a lot to make the water quite proper too. And they could be far more simplified. Not sure if you could agree to that. Another problem might be. Let me
Go
try to.
on.
Pardon?
The army builder.
Okay.
There's a weird like hard coded element of the army builder where you can create a new army
Mm-hmm.
and it works fine for a while, but after it spawns, I think it's like 30 units.
Mm-hmm.
Any trigger command that you give to give that army, like command that army to do something, it just ignores them. For some
Okay.
reason, like after 30 units in an army spawn, that army is basically just dead unless you like do a trigger to reset it. I don't
Mm,
really. I think that's been a problem since the original 2002 game.
yeah.
I don't really understand why that's a feature.
I have no idea as well, but that's really concerning. Like I said, there was
Yeah,
such a
it was
problem as well that an army unit spawner definitely created a lot of problem. But when you create a group spawner unit, it was definitely breaking the thing, and no one used that because it was just literally broke. But apparently, it was fixed right now. But if I hear you, it's partially fixed. That's
I don't think I'm talking about that. It's the actual like army editor where
oh,
you can create an army for an individual player, and then from that
okay.
you can create a trigger to spawn a unit from that army.
Yeah, as a reinforcements,
And
for example.
yeah, kind of.
Okay.
But then there's
Hmm.
triggers to do all sorts of things like command, like regardless of where those units are on the map, you can then give them a command to then move to this location or teleport them or command them to attack something or attack move. But then up for some reason after 30 units spawn, they any new units that spawn just ignore all those commands. I don't know why.
Strange. Because I do remember, the problem when you go to the underworld after with Greek, right? When Arcantos and Ajax have been, split up, and you just rush to take over Gargrantis, and then he just goes to the underworld passage, and you stop the ram. You know that mission, and you
Mm-hmm.
constantly get that like reinforcements, and there's certainly something like more than 80 units. Well, in total, then that spawn.
Well, those are player controlled though. So what I'm talking
Oh,
about is getting the AI to do something with the units.
ah, okay. That's weird then.
Yeah, it may
Okay.
have been fixed in a recent update, but that's certainly the case in Extended Edition, and it was certainly the case when the game launched. So
All right.
it's
Okay.
a weird one.
Yeah.
There's
Well.
also another one, a quick one. For
Mm-hmm.
some reason, there's an extra difficulty
Mm-hmm.
in the scenario editor. You can go in legendary difficulty,
What?
but there's no way to access that in the campaigns and skirmishes.
Isn't isn't that ludicrous or legendary? Because you do have
Ludicrous is
those.
called extreme for some reason in the scenario editor. So it
Oh.
goes standard, which is actually story mode, moderate,
Uh-huh.
hard, titan, extreme, legendary.
I think it shouldn't. It is meant to be ludicrous, but someone called it legendary. I'm not sure. It could be. I don't know. I don't have any
Yeah,
other
so
data coming up.
yeah, there's 6 difficulties in the scenario editor, but only 5 in the actual game.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Truly. Okay. Um. Are you currently working on any custom campaign or scenario, and are you willing to share some juicy information about it, or would you rather keep it to yourself as you keep on cooking?
Well, I've got that update for Nomads in Midgard that I'm going to try and
Mm-hmm.
get out there. I already have a version on Nexus Mods, so if people want to just download it locally to their machine, they can do that. But for my next scenario, I want to remake Lonely Sands, which I did for Extended Edition, which is Egyptian themed. You're the wonder in the middle, which you have to defend. There's lanes of enemies. And I think I'm going to overhaul that in sort of the same way I have with Nomads in Midgard for Retold.
Hmm. That sounds interesting. I'm definitely into that because as Chemist, I definitely love Egypt. So I'd be up for it. Okay, that's nice.
Originally, I did actually want that scenario to be co-op in the extended edition, but I found out there's certain trigger effects that just don't work online.
Hmm.
So hopefully, I can actually make that scenario co-op this time.
I really hope so because again, co-op kind of games are really a big thing. Because, like you said, in StarCraft, many people played so much co-op games together and all that. I remember that too. With a lot of my friends have also always pestered me to play, but StarCraft was not much of my kind of game as well. Even though I know StarCraft is a big game, especially for EA gamers and all the esports gamers, and also, yeah. Um, and of course, we can definitely would love to have more custom campaigns and all that because that is also something we do not have much in Age of Mythology Retold. In Age of Empires 2, you have, especially the original campaign, have originally been made to co-op. So I will look forward to that. Um, Hopefully, you'll be able to do that too. Um, is there something you'd like to say to the community, personally, from the bottom of your heart?
From the bottom of my heart, how about
Hmm.
Prostagma?
Exactly.
Next question.
Is there a way people can contact you, like other content creators, all those in the community who played your campaign and or scenario and want to offer their thoughts, opinions, and some constructive feedback, perhaps? Because I personally always struggled to try to find any kind of contact information, even you, until I just started like look around to like Toasty Goblin around Discord servers, and I was like, hey, we have a mutual Discord server. There you are, and I just right away sent your friend request and poked you. But it's not easy as anyone else to try to find, and neither in Age of Mythology Retold, because compared to Age of Empires 2, when you click on the view button and then you rate mod, you can only give it a star. You cannot leave any kind of comment down there. When in Age of Empires 2, you're literally sent to the Age of Empires 2 forums and you can definitely leave a comment there. And you can always ask their person, like, hey, okay, this, and this, and this. But there's no way to contact and no email or Discord server. So, how should anyone else in the future contact you?
I think that's a bit of a big problem. 'Cause contacting mods and like mod makers in general for Retold is kind of difficult because there's just no UI to support that.
True. True.
I think I do have a YouTube channel where I do actually upload me playing my mods, so that's probably the best place. And then just leave a comment on the appropriate video, because I do get a notification every time someone leaves a comment. Or I would say Steam, but you have to actually add someone on Steam as a friend to send them a message, don't you?
True. And even Discord server. But here, I would encourage, of course, an advice to maybe leave any kind of information down in any of your creations, be it Nomad or Midgard, Relic Refresh, or Circle of Demeter. Like, even if it's an email or Discord or Steam, and then you just take it as you go. I guess it's still an option. That is what I would advise, because, like I said, it was difficult for me to find many of you, not just you, but many other creators to do this interview or offer any kind of constructive. Like, if I struggle, you can be certain many people will be.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. If someone considered playing one of your custom campaigns or scenarios in Age of Mythology Retold, which one should it be and why?
Sorry, I missed the first part of that question. Can you repeat that?
Sure. If anyone considered playing one of your custom campaign or scenario in Age of Mythology Retold, which one should it be and why? You there?
Yeah, so I'm not really sure how to answer that because I don't really, because I said earlier, I haven't really played any of the
No,
custom
I said
scenarios.
like any of your own. Like, if someone considered playing one of your custom campaigns or scenarios in Age of Mythology Retold, which one should it be and why? Like, your own creations. So let's say I'm someone who just checked this video out and I know you, and which one would you advise them to? Like, hey, this is my creation. You should try it out because this and this and this.
Well, I've only released one so far, so that's kind of an easy answer.
Well, no, as a Midgard, I would definitely say. And aside from that, of course, aside from Retail, you do have your Ascension scenario.
That is true.
Yeah.
Well, if people can tolerate the primitive graphics and the jank that comes with a game that came out in 2002, then I'd like them to give Mythology Survivors a try. See what they think.
All right. Sure. That is good advice. Moving on to the next question. Roughly how much time does it take you to create a full scenario or campaign from idea to release? Or let's say
Uh,
if you...
Sometimes it can literally take 2 years. That's how long it took me to finally release Lonely Sands for the extended edition.
Mm-hmm.
Because that went through a lot of different iterations,
Mm-hmm.
like just overhauling the entire map. Just like there was originally going to be mini boss fights, and I just completely cut that, and instead had the obelisks as side objectives.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there was the co-op element, but I had to cut that because the triggers wouldn't work online.
Yeah.
But for the original version of Nomads in Midgard for the extended edition, only took me 3 weeks in comparison.
Damn.
So
That's
it
a
can
big
really
difference.
vary. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh no, that's still an interesting question, and by all means, no shame in that, because many people have had those things as well, and of course, you can also take some time to take some breaks and all that, because even Dark Antos has taken like 2 years to release his campaign. Um, all right. What keeps you motivated to keep creating, especially during long or difficult projects? Because, like you said, 2 years we can struggle through burnouts. Like, how have you motivated yourself in that regard?
I think it's just the fun of the game, really. Like,
Okay.
Age of Mythology is my favorite game. And every time I do a play test and like after adding something or fixing some bugs, it just gets more and more fun, and I can see the vision of the scenario coming to life, and I think this is something good I'm working on, and I can't wait to fully release it. I think that's what keeps me going.
Okay. Solid answer for sure. You can definitely offer a lot of fun for people, and of course leave a legacy in their hearts. Um,
And
have you?
ultimately, I make all my mods for me primarily.
Oh,
Like it's
okay.
only a bonus that I release them to other people.
Okay. Okay. All right. Um, have you ever knowingly bent or ignored history or mythology to make a scenario more fun? Where do you draw that line?
Um, I feel like I'm willing to bend it as much as Ensemble Studios did when they created their own original character in Arcantos. Like mythologies are just fictional stories, so
Mm-hmm.
if you want to change it as much as you like, I think Hades is a good example. That game franchise. That's all about the god of the underworld in Greek mythology, but there's a lot of stuff in there, especially the designs of the characters, where they're not quite accurate to the depictions of the ancient history.
True.
So
Yeah.
just as long as it's not completely batshit insane like UFOs everywhere, then I think
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with you. It's just fine to have a little bit of bend, so to say. So yeah. Um. What was the single hardest thing for you to learn in the scenario editor, if you remember that?
Um, hmm. And there's plenty of things that have been annoying and just learning through like trial and error, like try this, test this, and then just keep doing it until it works.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Singular thing, I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Yeah, not really sure.
All right. Okay. I'll take that as an answer too. No problem. Um. What kind of feedback or recognition means the most to you as creator? So let's say someone comes up to your YouTube channel and saw your playing through your own Nomads and Midgard scenario, and what meant a lot. Let's say that to see that comment like, hey, oh, that's cool, thanks, or whatever.
I think the people who go out of their way, not necessarily to comment or like or anything like that, but decide to make videos of them playing my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, especially when they're from like high profile creators. Like There's a custom world for Minecraft that I'm building, which is basically taking locations from a game called The Long Dark and recreating them. And there was a YouTuber called Stacey Plays
Yeah,
who ended up playing that map, and I think it got like 400,000 views. And it's
mm,
stuff like that that just it makes it feel like it's all worth it to just put stuff out there that people really enjoy.
true. Exactly. It does. These kind of people definitely highlight and encourage, even make people, see how amazing one can be very creative as well. And just like yourself, make these nice scenarios over here. So it's definitely cool to have that going. Um, do you keep any sort of notepad, Excel sheet for fix or future update, perhaps, auto creations you had in mind?
Yes, I always have a Notepad++ document open with
Mm-hmm.
Nomads in Midgard to do, and then there's just I've got it separated by different columns like things to do slash fix, post release stuff to do, new god power ideas, new
Mm-hmm.
shrine ideas, like all that sort of stuff. And I've got multiple of these documents for different types of mods.
Yeah, that's true. That's a definitely wise approach to sell and something we encourage. And by all means, this question did not come up by my own mind. I will be only fair to once again mention Christopher's over here. Shout out to him, another Age of Empires 2 creator. Um, this is the last question. Do you think the editor within Retold changed a lot betterly or not compared to Extended Edition and or the classics?
I think overall it's an improvement, especially
Mm-hmm.
the dark theme, so it's not as much of a strain on the eyes with the white or the light grey that the original had. Tons more trigger effects. They're all actually listed in alphabetical order and named properly. You
Mm-hmm.
can also change the you can move any trigger effect up and down, which previously you couldn't. It would always just default to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a big improvement.
Yeah.
Pretty much, pretty much entirely. Yeah.
Alright, that's good to hear that at least it's still improved as well compared to before, and it made life a lot easier for you creators as well to make some more content for people to consume and enjoy, or you yourself overall as well. Um, well, that concludes the last question over here. Done. Um, I'll give you the chance as well. Do you have any questions yourself towards me, for example?
Yeah. How have you made any mods for Age of Mythology or any other Age of games for that matter?
No, no, I'm not so creative like you guys. I'm not an artist. I'm more of a just a player and all that. Just you know, very more of an influencer than any creator in myself. In regards to making any editor as well, I did it back in the day when I was literally younger as well. Just like you said, when the classics were around, I always played around, especially with Camset as well. Screwed around and made my own little island, and just thought ever of doing a little bit of reverse and all, and that's it, and just had some fun through that. That's it, but never publish any kind of that. I always was someone who was more trying to consume, encourage, and inspire, give other insights as well. Aside from testing here and there in Age of Empires 2 or Age of Mythology, lately, not much. So yeah.
No, fair enough.
Um,
It's definitely not for everyone. It can be quite tedious at times
true,
trying to make
true,
things.
true. Especially for someone who is, it could be like very focused into one thing, honestly, because I can imagine many of you guys like trying to focus, and like I said, when I was talking with Christophers in regards to the Excel sheet, the Notepad question, when we were playing, we were literally when we're how should I say how to call it again? Damn it! When we were playing Tommy Glance, I think it was. We both came up to the mind because I was asking like, hey, since you're a perfectionist, I'm as well. But um, how do you keep such organized? I was like, yeah, I keep those notepads and Excel sheets, and I was like, okay, cool, pretty nice and all that. And we just chatted. I was like, okay, I'm gonna include this question, see how many people are doing this, and of course, drop this little advice as well. But I'm not. I can't build. I'm not a artist, like I said. It's definitely big. By all means, not to shame those who cannot create it, but it's just a different level, of course. And um, we all have our places here in this community, of course. And yeah.
That's fair enough.
Do you have any other questions?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Well, then that's it. Once again, I would like to personally thank you. And then, of course, to the community as well, by all means, feel free to check out the Nomads and Midgard scenario. I personally definitely enjoyed it. Check out these other mods over here in Relic Refresh. And if you're also playing through Extended Edition and you've heard what has been mentioned, by all means, try it out as well. And check out his YouTube channel as well. Big shout outs. And this is it. So feel free to drop a like, sub if you wish to support the channel. And if you're new, and feel free to check out Discord server. And with that mentioned, we'll see you guys later.